We're taking this ham discussion live.
Or going full pork.
Oh, full pork. Honestly, ham, I question whether it should be a breakfast food.
I could see that.
Really?
Bacon.
Why?
Well,
I question whether it should be a food.
Ooh, bringing up some real pig talk, huh? Kicking them down.
Chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah, Dale, what do you have to say about ham? I know your country was built on it.
We're not built on ham, but I do like ham. Especially in bacon format. Not Canadian bacon, though. I have to agree.
No, yeah.
Yeah, see.
What is Canadian bacon? Tell us.
It's just ham.
I don't even know. I think it's like sliced ham or something fried. I'm not even sure.
Who decided to put Canadian bacon on pizza instead of just regular bacon? I think regular bacon would have.
I agree. When I do pineapple pizzas, I put regular bacon.
Oh my God! Now we're opening another can of worms. Pineapple on pizza.
It's the least controversial thing we'll talk about today.
I like pineapple on pizza. All right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Anything on pizza. I don't judge pizza toppings. Yeah. If it tastes good, I'll eat it. I don't care if it's Pop-Tarts. I mean, if it's got to be good though.
You got to put it on pizza.
If you're gonna do a dessert pizza with Pop-Tarts, it's got to be good. If I taste it, it tastes bad. I'm gonna be judgmental. But if it's good,
Pop-Tarts classified as a dessert breakfast pizza?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe.
Or what? Then we have to what's the classification of a Pop-Tart? If you bake something into the crust of a pizza, could that theoretically be a Pop-Tart?
I mean, a Pop-Tart stuffed crust.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
The 1 million calorie pizza.
Now you're crossing
This is the diabetes pizza.
None of you little hackamaniacs going to talk about Slim Jims on a pizza.
Oh, we got the Hackaman Savage.
What's up, Hacker Man?
Oh, it's just a hacktastic day coming off the top rope. That's how I wake up every morning. In bed, top rope, brush teeth.
Do you sleep on the top rope?
No, in the middle of the ring. That's where you maintain dominance.
I see.
It's like a cot.
There's a cot in the middle of the ring. That's it.
It's a giant. No, the ring is the cot.
Oh, the ring is a giant cot.
You always
sleep in the middle, though.
Those rings are springy, so it must be fairly comfortable. Because you don't really see anybody getting hurt too badly when they get slammed into it, so it can't be that hard.
It's just acting. It's good acting.
What? What are you talking about?
Whoa.
I mean, the getting hurt part.
Oh, that part.
Because they're actually getting hurt, but they're acting like they're not.
So the question is whether they actually got hurt or whether they're pretending to get hurt.
Oh, they're definitely getting hurt, dude. Faux show.
84, I had a complete spinal replacement. It's amazing.
Yeah, you don't get suplexed in Go Full Scorpion and not have it hurt.
Oh. Well, how would you know? Have you tried it?
Oh, I've tried it.
We should have a wrestling ring at Wild West Hackfest.
There was one.
Yeah, that's
a bull ring.
Sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
I mean, honestly,
people wrestling and someone on the bull at the same time. What could go wrong?
I feel like there's always a meeting.
After party, we wrestled the bull. Yeah. For the Intercontinental Bullship Championship of the world.
In all seriousness, I have discussed with Velda martial arts classes at Wild West Hackenfest.
I think we always just try to find some way for us to push the limit of the insurance that we have.
I'm telling you.
At the conference.
Pico Balloon.
If you're not first, you're not pushed first to try the clauses in your insurance, you're last. You gotta go through and make all those actuaries go, oh, we didn't see that.
That's funny.
Roll the finger.
Ready to get started?
Yeah.
Break that finger for us, please.
On this week of BHIS Talking About the News, we have Hackerman Randy Savage. We have Ralphaman Randy Ralpher. We have the U.S. government shooting down balloons. Balloon mayhem. All we talk about on the show is balloons now.
Yeah.
Are we going straight to the balloon article? I'm down. I read it thoroughly.
Wait, I just want to know that I just want everyone to know that this has nothing to do with security.
I like how we can see Ralph's screen. Like,
I know.
Ralph, can you like drag like yourself onto the screen so we can see it?
Like double.
That looks like a hummingbird.
Yes, there's a hummingbird on the screen. I had my Bitcoin wallet up there, but I took it down because I didn't want you guys to read it.
Why? You don't like to share?
I was thinking about it.
Can you put your private key up on there?
Yes. Hold on, give me a second. Let me put it up there.
So on this week, looks like we've got a pretty good cast of hosts here. We got Dale, the Canadian. So that's good.
mean,
now we have. This is now an international podcast. So welcome, Dale.
Thanks.
We're inclusive.
We have Cameron. We have Wade. We have the aforementioned parties, and of course Ryan.
Yeah, I'm here.
Does anyone have any news they want to talk about that isn't balloon related? Let's put that off into the end. No balloons until
all
the
right.
end.
We're gonna put it off to the end.
We'll pop that one at the end, okay?
The thing I want to talk about first, and I don't know if it's even like a story that we have in here, but did anyone see the tweet of like the guy trying to sell someone's data from like a pen testing firm?
No.
No.
Oh, yes. You're right. We definitely need to talk about this, right?
Because we need to talk about it.
Hold on.
I don't know if there is a news article, but basically,
I don't have one for that yet.
Yeah. I will find.
Do you have the tweet? Find the tweet.
I'll find the tweet. Ralph grabbed the tweet while I explain what it is. So over the weekend, it was tweeted and basically on a breach forum, on a forum where hackers go to post things. Someone posted, "Hey, I've compromised one of the." A user from one of the top U.S. cybersecurity/IT firms, and they have 250 gigs of client data in a Dropbox that the hacker has compromised, which just brought up so many questions of, first of all, what hacker is putting client data in their Dropbox, and what hacker is doing it at the level of 250 gigabytes. Probably not great OPSEC, but then they posted like a list of files. There was some tool output in there, a list of clients now. So I'm like frantically going through the BHIS clients. I'm like, is this guy, are they a client? So
is this an
be
employee
careful.
or is this like someone just popped their
employee? Gotta be.
Yeah.
I think
it was Dropbox, right?
I think it is and this is speculation. This could all be a scam. This doesn't even necessarily have to be real. But based on the data they've posted, it looks real to me. Yeah. Basically, my guess is this employee of a IT/cybersecurity firm, was using Dropbox, either work sanctioned Dropbox or personal Dropbox, to store their between their Kali VM and their testing VM or whatever. Mm-hmm. But looking at the tweet, it's very terrifying because it specifically calls out Cobalt Strike licenses, associated files, highly detailed reports with reproduction and evidence, corporate email addresses and passwords, 100 RDP files, PEM keys. It just it feels like someone's airing out your dirty laundry, even though I know it wasn't me. It just feels like it was me.
This feels dirty. I feel like $3,000 is cheap too. That's
I know. How has no one bought it?
It seems like it's bait.
I mean,
rather than
right. It could be fake. It could totally be fake.
And imagine that would be some great bait if you threw that up there and then sold it for that cheap, and then just.
I'm just waiting. This is real.
Dropbox has some good logs too, like transferring to and from Dropbox from internal assets. So it wouldn't be hard to see that amount of data move, or any files from that data at least move.
I am.
I mean,
as a DLP standpoint.
Who knows? But all I'm saying is it's scary and reminds everyone out there to use good OPSEC. That's the reason I wanted to talk about it. Because if you put 100 or 220 gigs of client data in your personal Dropbox, you're part of the problem. So don't do that.
So this has brought up one thing that I thought of as soon as I read this, which is all of the cloud storage providers that are out there, all the big ones that I can think of, right? And there are some exceptions to this rule, but in general, okay, your files are not encrypted on those services, right? What that means is that if they can't, or if anyone can get access to your account, okay, which is just authentication. So yeah, sure, maybe you have two-factor or whatever, but assuming that they can get access to that account, they can read those files, including the company that stores it, right? So that goes down to Dropbox got hacked, and so they got access to everyone's files, right? Because Dropbox can read that data, right?
Right.
So it's the model that says you don't have the encryption key, you don't have control of that data, right? Someone else can read it. And this is one of those examples.
Is it like typical for people to require you to do a password, at least password protection on those reports, right? At least some form of I was about to say I've never seen any type of security measures for a security port. They just send it to me.
I don't think that's how you should,
like
I will
a secure
say,
space to hold them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't think that's password protection on a file is an effective security control. Passwords on files is like how you tell people, so I can just use passwords.xlsx as long as it's password protected, right?
Yeah, that's the rule. But I mean, honestly though, Corey, if you made a 50-character randomly generated password and you encrypted a zip file, God rest your soul, you're not probably going to.
Yes, true.
Okay? So,
true.
I mean, like
there
encryption is not broken because you used a password. But to your point, I absolutely
It is not
agree.
standard. It is not standard.
Not standard.
It is not industry standard because at the end of the day, if people can't read the documents, they don't have any value. And what I've seen more commonly when I'm digging through enterprise file shares is they'll be password protected and they'll just have the password in the file name.
Yes.
So how is this on Dropbox any different than if you're a company who's using a SharePoint or Google Drive?
It's not.
Like that?
It's not. There's zero difference.
So
zero.
Yes, there is zero difference. We are speculating, at least I am, that it is a personal Dropbox that is not company sanctioned. That is my guess.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that if it was a corporate Dropbox, there's probably much more secure authentication requirements. There's much more there's just more layers of security built around it. Monitoring probably a hacker isn't pulling down 220 gigs of data from a corporate Dropbox without someone finding
it. You would hope that would set off every alarm.
Any alarm.
And just knowing what we've talked about somewhat on the show and research I've done, knowing how malware compromises people's personal machines and then spreads to encompass their work stuff, that's probably what happened here, if I had to guess. The user's Dropbox account, I got to have my personal Dropbox logged in on my gaming PC, and then I want to play a cracked version of Hogwarts Legacy, so I just downloaded that from the Pirate Bay, and now, that account's credentials were stolen or the authentication tokens. It's also funny, as a last little thing before we move on, the attacker says in the post, it's being actively updated. They're just sitting there watching the person be like,
my gosh. And can we please just all agree that SSL is not encryption of your data? Okay, this is transport, right? This is while it goes over the internet. Okay, but the data, you can still read it. It's not encryption at rest. All right?
It's not secure. So anyway, don't do bad OPSEC, especially not. And the funny thing is, in the comments on that post, people were like, "Wow, they're not a very top firm if they're doing this." And then we're like, "You might be surprised. You might be surprised." So there is a betting pool active as to what company it is.
Yeah,
so.
I've got $100 on. I'm not saying. So.
We don't tip.
We don't speculate on other competitors. Okay.
No.
So that's my article.
He's got to understand there's hug ops going on somewhere. There's somebody who was just trying to get their report in on a deadline, and they were just trying to come into that steel cage of an engagement and get that work done, so they could throw that whole set of vulnerabilities off the top of the cage like mankind did. But back in summer CTF in '85, the only way to get 256 gigs of data was to go through Andre the Giant, and that's how I broke my back. So you just can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Hacker Man. That's a good take.
Yeah.
All right, who's got one? That was mine.
FBI.
You don't want
are we getting raided? What's going on?
No, they got hacked, or there was a cybersecurity incident. By the way,
is that what we're calling them now? Cybersecurity incident?
Yes.
Again.
Whenever something bad has happened, they always start with, "There was just an incident."
A whoopsie.
Be calm.
A whoopsie poopsie.
A whoopsie. Everything's under control. Please stand back. And then other stuff comes out. Let's just put it that way.
They're investigating an incident too. It doesn't mean
it's an incident.
Claiming are they claiming that it's an incident, or are they investigating?
I also like this.
So
they say they already contained. I know that's what they. But then they're like, we already contained the isolated incident, but we're also working to uncover the scope and impact.
Yes, exactly. So this
it's it's contained. Well, actually, stay tuned because it might not be.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Whenever someone says there was an incident, what they're saying is get ready to get ready. Okay.
That when their email server got compromised, I've talked about this before. That was like the one day I didn't read my threat intel briefing before I read my emails. And I'm going through my emails and I'm like, all of a sudden, like I had a director forward me that and I'm like, oh no. And I'm like immediately like look at my phone for some of my contacts, and then right then one of my coworkers, he's like, "Hey, did you hear the FBI got email server got breached?" I was like, "Oh my god, thank God." That was a scary day for me.
Yeah. So this is you're talking about a different incident.
Well, they talk about that within the article.
Right.
The FBI email servers hacked push.
This current incident, there's basically no information. FBI spokespeople were not immediately available for comment, and apparently it just says it was related to the New York field office computer system used to investigate child sexual exploitation. So, who knows?
That's a rough office to work out of.
Yeah. Maybe they just put like a ransomware on it so they wouldn't have to do their jobs anymore.
So I think this is the one lesson that no one is safe. And when you do see something like this, we may not see anything else because they might not say anything, right? But we shall see what the scope was, right?
Are they allowed to not say anything?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, I don't think they would have reported it just to be nice. I'm sure it's a legal
Yeah.
requirement.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like, hey, we got hacked. All right, that's all. See you guys. That was that'll help our stock price.
This is classified, so we can't talk about it.
That's what they should have said. We can neither confirm nor deny whether a security incident impacted or did not impact any assets on our network or elsewhere. Just like be as generic as possible.
Yes.
The hacker man has fought the FBI before, and they're going to use a signature move called classified national security. And when they use that, forget it. You can't get out of it. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not only the FBI, but GoDaddy for the 7th
again.
Time. Yes.
Or is this a new one, or is this the same one and they're just saying more things about it?
Well, that's a great question. And so the company says that previous breaches disclosed in November 2021, March 2020 are also linked to this multi-year campaign. So it's a continuation, like it never stopped. I'm a little confused here about
it's a multi-year campaign by a sophisticated threat actor group that installed malware on our systems and obtained pieces of code related to some services. They said this in an SEC filing.
This was December 2022. Their sites were being used to redirect to random domains, and attackers had access to the company's network for multiple years.
Yeah. It's almost like when you keep getting hacked, it could be just someone that's persistently in your network.
Like an employee?
Ooh. I don't know, maybe, but I mean, I would guess.
So is this their way of saying we got hacked again, but it's not a new hack, it's the same hack, so it's not like it's just kind of.
I think they're just giving a status update. They're like,
yes, it's a
hey, status update
on the multi-year hacking.
Exactly. Incident. They're like, hey, all those times we got hacked, it was one person for a really long time, which makes it so much worse somehow.
We just haven't found out which employee it is yet.
This
is like that crazy thing of like, well, how far back do the logs go? 90 days. Is that enough? Hopefully.
How many big corporations you guys see using GoDaddy? Is that like typical? Because
I mean, define using GoDaddy. I feel like every corporation, corporation probably has some tie into GoDaddy for something. Like their marketing page, or like it's very commonly used for like, yeah, exactly. Like it has a broad appeal because like if you just Google like I need to make a website for my thing, it's like going to be one of the first results. But as far as like using it at scale, not many.
I think they're more customer focused than like enterprise focused. But I'm not saying that somebody in enterprise would.
Small business.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking what attacking GoDaddy, what would be the main target that they have, right?
Yes.
Of course, their customers and all that data and stuff like that. But they're making it sound like someone gnarly is coming after them repeatedly, right? And it's like, all right, well,
they're doing it for staging, probably. Right?
That, okay, there you go. That was the answer
so
that I wanted.
Spam and staging, we know that's how attackers typically monetize. So like before ransomware, like old school, is like you get in and then you use it to send spam, or you compromise it and use it to send, malware, or use it to stage malware, which I guarantee you, if you tie in a large number of GoDaddy sites with like some kind of referral, like, scamming campaign and malvertising, all that kind of stuff, that's going to be a big impact. Like that's going to be, that's my guess, but it's TBD. I mean, how they used it. We know they stole lots of emails and used them for phishing. We know, This one actually mentions stuff about their cPanel hosting shared environment.
cPanel.
Oh, God.
Where they actually the attackers they stole the source code and they put malware on the servers within that cPanel shared environment. So, yeah.
See, back when the hacker man was working IT before he went and started his entire career, you have to understand when you say, what businesses use GoDaddy? Well, all my little hacker maniacs, many, because the Small Business Administration classifies small businesses at somewhere between $25 and $250 million. And you might think that's a lot of money, but a lot of those are still family-owned mom and pop shops, and they don't know anything about doing any of this web stuff. They don't know anything about APIs. They don't know anything about the Kubernetes. They just know they need a website to sell their pipes and their plumbing and their whatnot. So they go to GoDaddy and they check that out. So yeah, it can still be a big business and be on a little website.
I can verify that. My dad's website was hosted there for a while until I moved it. And then now I have to run all of his IT, and that's not fun.
Friends don't let friends. Yeah, friends. Well, definitely don't self-host it because that's worse. But yeah, friends don't let friends use GoDaddy anymore. It's just not a thing. Just move on. Like Microsoft at this point has the same services for the same cost. There's
GoDaddy resells Microsoft's Office 365 with less security features and manages it for you. So.
Yep.
Anyhow, well, so yeah. Places have gotten hacked recently.
Anyone else? Who else has gotten hacked?
Oh, you want some more?
We got a generic Pepsi hack.
What about the car hacking?
Oh God!
Wait, Pepsi.
The Kia boys.
Kia boys.
The Kia boys. That's not hacking.
It is hacking. It is hacking. I mean,
it's
in
physical
a YouTube kind of way.
It is. It's amazing.
You use a USB cable.
So wait, hold on. So let's for context.
Way ahead.
So basically, right now, stealing Hyundais and Kias is hot. Like
it's a sport.
Hackerman Savage. Hackerman Savage stole 8 Kias last night alone.
That's true.
I mean, he's collecting.
Can I get one of those?
Why would you steal a Kia?
Because it's easy. So this is why. So the reason it's getting stolen is because on Kias and Hyundais that have specifically do not have push button start, the ones that have actual physical keys, they do not have an immobilizer, which the immobilizer is the part that keeps your car from being stolen. And there are actually required, I believe, in a lot of countries and might be starting to be required in the U.S. soon. But so basically people bust the window, they get in, and you can basically dismantle the actual physical solenoid that the key turns and basically turn it with a USB cable. So like that's why that people talk about the USB cables. So
within seconds. So after reading this, I watched a couple YouTube videos on how to do it, and I was like, oh my God, that's so literally you just put a screwdriver in the ignition, wiggle it around, the whole ignition part comes out, and then there's this tiny little piece of metal that a USB cable perfectly fits into.
And then you have this car started.
And you're good.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, basically, the reason that's the background story, but the article itself is that people are hacking their cars to keep them from being stolen.
Yeah. Well, no, Kia is releasing. Didn't they release? They're releasing an update.
They are releasing an update. I think.
So for certain models, they're releasing an update to make it harder where the key will have to be inserted, right?
All right, hold on. The hacker man has a question.
Yeah.
Did you say a USB cable? Like nothing, like I can just go grab some 99-cent cable from the dollar store and be like, boom, boom, turn it.
Yeah. Well, see, hacker man, it's actually easier than that because everyone already has a USB cable in their car.
You could steal a USB cable to steal a Kia.
No, yeah, it's literally in the Kia. You just pull the USB cable out of the aux port and use it.
Charge the phone.
I don't know if the
So-
Kia is that new. If the Kia is new enough to have a USB cable, it may not be.
No. That's the worst
So
part.
okay, please explain to me. Can someone explain to me how you can do a software update that prevents the key from turning?
I am not.
The video I saw, they took apart the whole ignition system to show you how it works, and on the older cars, I do not know. You're gonna have to take out the ignition and re-put it in.
It says the updates make it so the affected cars require a key to be in the ignition switch to start.
Yeah.
So that's actually that makes sense because they have a sensor that tells it.
There's a sensor to let you know that there's a key in it.
But that's not secure. You just get any key.
It's not working. That's what they're saying. It's not actually like working to stop it from or like to prevent you from starting it. Right.
Okay, this is going to do nothing. I'm just going to go ahead and call it early and say they're requiring a key. It says specifically a key.
Longer and pointier.
You're switching out a USB cable. So all they're doing is taking away the part with the USB cable. You can still do any key that will go in the ignition. So you just get a dummy blank key and it'll still work. Also, it does say the no key alarm will sound for 1 minute instead of 30 seconds.
Instead of 30 seconds.
Those 30 seconds will make such a difference. And by that was sarcasm. That will make no difference at all. And ask yourself the question, have you ever done anything about a car alarm going off? I haven't. And I don't know anyone that has.
I've looked out my window when it was my car just to make sure. Like, I'm like, is that my alarm? But then, like, even if it was, what am I gonna do? Like, okay, there goes my car. Let me call insurance. So I get ahead on this.
So we got some updated information from QWERTY for me, the best password that I've been using for many years.
Yeah, still.
That basically says they're updating it so that when the key fob locks the car, it can't be started without being unlocked by the fob. So it's not just the sensor modification. So there is some actual like.
So then when the fob battery goes out, you're double screwed.
Yeah,
then you can just. I would imagine a car that old, you could probably clone the fob with. Maybe.
Hold on. So I want you guys to know though that we're not talking about a 15-year-old car. We're talking about 2010 and 2021. Yes. And
this is 10 years
between 2015 and 2021.
2010 is almost 15 years old.
Yes.
Okay? That's
So,
like...
no, but as recent as 2021.
Right,
yeah, so it wasn't
model.
optional. It was optional. You could get one with the push button start that had the immobilizer, but basically the number is only 26% of Hyundais and Kias had immobilizers. So essentially, and they're actually like uninsurable. Like if you go buy one of these vehicles and you're like,
a lot of
you tell your insurance agent,
these years anymore.
I bought a 2021 Kia. They're like, did you now? What, does it have a button? If it doesn't have a button, you can't do it. Go take it back. Sell
your
it.
risk model has gone out the window.
Insurance is $5,000 a month.
Yeah. So okay, basically,
Are we gonna
if you
know that this was popularized through TikTok?
Yeah. No, I was waiting for that.
They don't talk about that.
We don't talk about TikTok.
It's just like Bruno.
We don't talk about TikTok. It's actually banned on the show. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, definitely, if you own one of these cars, consider trying to lock it with the fob. Do not lock it with the key. Lock it with the fob, at least once the software.
But
also,
you need. What are they called? What are they called?
The club.
Is that what it is? The club that goes into your steering column and that doesn't allow it to move.
Because honestly.
These are professional car thieves. These are 13-year-olds, okay? Like, they're not going to do anything else.
You're just assuming because it's TikTok that's 13-year-olds doing it?
It is. That's
the
thing.
Audience,
yeah, that's
the target audience. It all makes sense. I mean, what 13-year-old doesn't want to steal a car? But
obviously,
I mean,
a lot of them.
I can't confirm or
in
deny.
droves when they steal these things.
Consider just getting a different car.
Yes.
All right.
I know that isn't an option for people that are buying the base Kia with no push button, but still, consider.
Yeah,
and when it seems like when you lock up your car to put it in a figure 8, a figure 4, or an arm bar. If you're there when they come, they won't stop. They won't try and take the car.
That's some damn good advice. What about just hiding in the back of your car, man?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's worth it?
If you hide in the back of the car, you have to be ready to play your walk-on music through the speakers. So when
that's the only disc. That's the only disc you have in the car, so it should play automatically.
Once they turn the car on, the music comes on.
And then you just drop, and then you pop up behind the seat and just put them straight into a headlock.
That's right. you actually get a 15% discount on your insurance when you prove that you know these maneuvers.
I see.
I want to put like a glitter bomb and a fart machine in there. Like when they break the glass, it does that in the car. Like they don't even want to steal it. They're like, this is the worst theft ever.
That is,
Ralph,
yeah.
I
There's a
had no
security
idea you had watched my original tag team work from the 80s. The fart bomb and the glitter bomb were my signature moves back when I was a heel.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's some great advice. Yeah, that's consumer advice. This is such a useful show.
Yes.
How do you get the headlock with the headrest in the way?
It'd be easier. They wouldn't be able to move as much.
Yeah.
Or like
you just have long arms. Just have really long arms.
Right in the neck part. Right
you
there.
take all the headrests off your car. You do need those, but not in this situation.
No.
Right, just the headrests as they come off in the car function as your steel chair. When you're in the ring, you just beat people with it.
And then suddenly the people with short arms can't get insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to prove that your arms are at least 3 feet in length so you can do the headlock.
Yeah.
And you guys thought we were gonna go crazy on balloons today.
So okay, speaking. Here's guys. I got an amazing segue here. Speaking of what you should do instead of having a Hyundai or Kia, maybe you should take the train.
Uh-oh.
Or not.
So apparently the European agency Eurostar, which I assume is some ridiculously cheap and efficient way of getting around Europe that we don't have because our country's too big. It definitely wasn't the car lobby. But yeah, basically the International High-Speed Rail Operator is emailing its users this week and forcing them to reset their passwords. But they're doing it in a way that is apparently making everyone mad. There are technical problems associated with resetting your passwords, making it impossible to actually do it. And so they're just locked out. You know how we talked about a few weeks ago? We talked about how you got to protect your users. You do have to protect your users, but I would say locking everyone out, probably not the best way to do it.
Well, you can't.
Security through obscurity.
They're protecting their users from themselves.
Yeah.
Denial of service. This isn't security through obscurity.
No, you're right.
Just
I was thinking.
yourself.
Well, when it's so secure you can't use it. Is it even secure? Right? It's like if
we air gapped all of our login servers, so you just can't log in.
You just can't log in, but it's super
they're secure. They're 100% secure.
I turned the computer off. It's the securest it'll be.
So, okay, do I have to ask the question, why do you need a username and password to ride the train? Is that a thing? Or I assume it's like for ticketing and stuff. It's like
maybe
you have to have an account.
Yeah.
Probably QR codes on your phone to get onto the train and to show you have tickets.
Yeah.
The things you have to have an account for everything now.
Everything,
like honestly,
dude.
Everything. If there's
like mobile, when that got hacked, you had to have an account to park. You did a damn account to park, and then in turn they got hacked, and then everyone just got all your license plates.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you have to have an account to like order McDonald's at this point.
Yes. Yeah. I had to have an account to get on here.
Do you have to have an account to? Do you have to have an account to jump off the top rope?
Yes.
No, absolutely not. No.
There are still some things.
What you do need is a critical lack of judgment and no issues having a doctor rebuild your knees.
I see.
Or your spine.
I'm in. I meet both of those criteria.
No, that's why I had my spine replaced with a horse's spine in '92.
Horse? Why not go full robot?
No, robot's too expensive.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah, horse.
Terminator.
The Clydesdale's name was Frank.
Clydesdale, the best horse I would say for.
I wanted the thick bones.
So, are you taller now, or did they just?
Yes, I used to be 2'7".
Wow. Okay, that makes
now
sense.
I'm 5'8".
Wow, the hacker man's only 5'8". Interesting. That's a trivia tidbit.
I look bigger in the ring. It's because I'm
generous. Do they put it? Is it a smaller ring or is it a normal size?
Movie magic.
It's normal size ring.
It's got platform shoes on. They put them next to
Force
small
perspective.
doors.
We like to
see the Hobbit.
Wrestling boots. Thank you.
So okay, yeah. Anyone got one?
Okay. What about
anyone want to drop into the ring?
To keep on the transportation segue. What about someone realizing that you can hack traffic lights with your Flipper Zero? At least a little bit. All right. It's a segue to it. You do have to create this whole.
Yeah. So this is abusing. I'm assuming this is abusing the emergency signaling.
Yeah. You are absolutely correct.
And this is a felony, right? Because there were people building these. They were building people were building these to do this like years ago.
What isn't fun? That's a felon. That's a felon.
Yeah, he makes a good point.
The F is for fun, not for felony.
F is for fun and felony. Okay, guys, remember that.
I actually don't know if it's a felony, but like basically this was a thing back in the day, and then like you could buy them, like it was like the blue box, but
yeah.
Well, now you just need a Flipper Zero, an Arduino, and some lights. You know what else needs an Arduino?
The other question. So this is like a system. This is a system we have in the U.S. I don't know if there's a system like this in Europe, but in some places you can't. The ambulances and fire trucks and emergency vehicles have a way to set the traffic lights in the direction they're going to green and turn everyone else to red. So obviously, where there's a will, there's a way. You can abuse this system. I don't know how widespread this is.
I mean, I haven't stopped at a red light in years. So.
Well, you have a Tesla.
And he doesn't have one of these. That's the
So, okay, yeah, I don't know how widely used. Like, I assume there's a bunch of different protocols, right?
Have you? So I have never seen in San Diego. I have never seen a light change for emergency vehicles. They always just run through it, like they walk up to it.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
I don't think it's used that common. Yeah,
I don't know. Like I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's like ubiquitous. 100% of the U.S. has it.
Qwerty says you can flash your high beams at some lights and they'll turn. I'm gonna just start high beaming everyone in San Diego.
Oh, I do that all the time just to make sure everyone knows I'm there.
That's Corey's signature move, the high beam.
The high beam.
I take him off the high beam.
Mm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very interesting. It's also a cool application of like the GPIO usage on the Flipper Zero, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work everywhere. We don't have like a universal standard for this. Some places.
No, I would guess this works in approximately where this researcher lives.
Yes,
and nowhere else.
Exactly. There's like 4 lights in his town. He went driving around all day to find them, and this.
But still,
theoretically, to find them. All right.
Still a cool blog post. Still a cool article, but
where this stuff will become really interesting is as the smart cities come to mind. I was out in Vegas for DEF CON promoting our new CTF matches, and I was out there and I was riding along in a self-driving car, and they said they can only do this in Vegas because it is one of the first cities to be tied into a smart grid where the cars know all the lights before they approach them, even when they can't see them. Once we get to this point, the Flipper Zero, it's gonna be like a tag team with myself and like The Rock. It's gonna be incredible.
I mean, there's no way they built that API insecurely.
White Cyberduck says you could just buy an ambulance.
Yeah, do they? Yeah, that's another option. Is you can just pretend like you're an ambulance driver and you can go through all the red lights.
Just blend in.
Yes, that is true. Just buy an ambulance. Yeah.
When you're gonna go all in, go
people
all
might start
in.
asking you for help.
This is not. I'd like to just say for the lawyers watching the show, none of this. Don't do any of this at home. This is not recommended. All these things are definitely felonies. But yes, that's.
When you get pulled over, what were you thinking? It was emergency. We're going to the bar. The guy in the back's laying down. You could seriously just be like, we're an ice cream truck. If you're interpreting it as we can run red lights, that's your call. Yes. It's not my fault that you thought we were doing something for safety because we had the lights blaring and then sirens and stuff.
So Cameron, I heard you say, but what if somebody comes up and asks you for help? And that's why the United States is the greatest country in the world, because if you walk up to an ambulance and you say, I need help, first they're going to ask you, who's your insurance provider? And there's no expectation that they help you. So it's great. You can just be like, I'm sorry, I'm with Blood Zero Insurance, and you don't have that.
Well, wait, didn't you guys notice? There's actually there's an ambulance tier in Uber now.
Is there really?
Yeah, I just made this up.
But if no way.
But yeah, no, it's just someone. All it is just someone who's willing to break laws. That's all it is.
So what you're saying is like when you call 911, they're like, do you want a regular ambulance or do you want an Uber ambulance? It's half the price though. What do you think?
Well, if you have the Uber app installed. Yeah, when you have the Uber app installed, when you try to dial 911, it says, "Are you sure you don't want to go through us first?" And also, you'll notice that most of the drivers are showing up in 2010 to 2021 Kias and Hyundais.
Yeah. If you Uber ambulance pool, it's half off.
Can you break a law if it's not your car? I don't know.
Definitely not. This is some awesome legal defense. It's like they can't arrest a husband and wife for the same crime.
The cameras that catch you running the red lights are just going to see the license plate. You'll be fine. You'll be
Corey,
good.
you nailed it. That's why I'm going to marry an ambulance.
No.
It makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
Double jeopardy. They can't get me.
They can't get you. All right. So, what?
Oh,
what?
I wanted to talk about this next article, unless you had one.
Well, what is it?
It's a follow-up. It's a Namecheap.
I love follow-ups.
Oh, okay. Go for it. Go. I thought it was gonna be a different.
Yeah, people were talking about this in the chat earlier. You got one, right?
Yeah. So, I actually got to experience some of this, like by proxy. So, I have a Namecheap account for some domains that I don't really use for anything even personal or anything like that, right? Anywho, I got some emails last week, and I didn't get them. In fact, I got a very interesting email from the service I use called Simple Login, and it's a kind of like an email. What do you call it? Like anonymous email service, not anonymous email service, but like hide your emails, like hide my email for iOS. You can make an email address so that spammers don't get one email and send you a bunch of stuff. Anyways, the notification I got saying that their DCAM was failing from Namecheap. Right, which was the spammers or whoever had compromised their email server or email provider, whatever. When they sent the email, they didn't have the DNS stuff set up properly, so it actually failed to even make it to my inbox, and I was seeing an error for this, right? And then it was like literally 2 hours later, Namecheap sent another email that landed in my inbox saying, "Hey, we're sorry about this. It wasn't us, right? Like, some third party is involved." And then this, like a day ago, I got another one, right? Another email from the same thing that failed the same DMARC. And
so of course they still have the keys or something.
Something's still going on, right? It hasn't stopped. Whatever it was, it's still going on right now. And everyone who had an email with Namecheap is getting hit.
Yeah.
And I recently made this account. So this is not like something like a database got compromised later. Like this is upstream, right? Like they're able to hit a whole list of emails, right, at one point. So
yeah, we talked about it when it originally happened. I would guess it's API related, just like gut feeling. I feel like they got a key, they got a secret. It's related to their email provider SendGrid, apparently, which we've used a lot. So I'm guessing they just got like a SendGrid master key or something like that and are just using it willy-nilly. But it is funny because this is a great example. If you layer security, good things happen, right? If you enforce DKIM, the message does not land. So it's like a good, good job if you do that.
Yeah. But they're saying it wasn't a breach. That's what this most recent article is.
Right.
And what I think is interesting is that it still continued to happen even after they sent the email saying they fixed it. So I'm like, I have questions. Like, I don't have answers. I just have questions. I'm like, so you guys knew about it and you supposedly stopped it. And then I got another one recently from to the same email, right? So possibly, maybe this spammer got the whole email list and they're just running through it again.
Right. They use the key to pull down like all the targets or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think this kind of attack, like secrets leakage, can happen so many different ways. Like we've even talked about like the Circle CI compromise where like how many GitHub secrets were leaked. Like if SendGrid has a leak somewhere, be it an API issue that's leaking keys or like some old CI/CD thing they didn't clean up, got compromised, or who knows. But if these kinds of keys are exposed, a lot of times they have long lifetimes. So, or they can just be used, like Ralph said, to pull down data and then reuse it against the same list of targets.
Yeah. So that email address is burned.
Well, White Cyberduck mentioned the Twitter multi-factor thing, which I feel like we should discuss. So I don't know if there's a link for this. There might be. But basically,
there is.
The upshot of this is that Twitter makes you pay, effectively, for SMS-based two-factor.
Was I the only one using token-based two-factor for Twitter?
Yeah, you're the only one saving the money.
I was like, why? I saw this and I'm like, I thought tokens were like technically more secure, because then, but I don't know.
I mean, 100%. You're right. They are.
Right?
Like, but so I think this is one of those things. It's like they got the right answer, but man, did they do the math wrong. Like, like I don't think this was intended to be like we talked about it when it originally happened, but when Elon took over, he like disabled all the microservices, and that broke SMS based two-factor. Yeah. So I'm guessing like he's like, fine, I'll turn it back on, but you're gonna have to pay me to use it.
So my worry is, are people gonna start thinking that text-based 2FA is more secure because that's the one you have to pay for now?
That's
that would be bad.
I hope not. I guess that would be like an even more wrong answer conclusion.
Or even worse, what if we started seeing this as a trend where companies started charging you to be more secure? Like, oh, you want MFA?
But it's the opposite.
Extra. It's the opposite here. But what if it was? I'm going full tinfoil hat. What if everyone else is like, oh,
yes,
that's a good idea?
No, so it's the opposite. So this is actually like, I do think we should talk about that. But I think like when I read this, like I'm not a big fan of Elon. I think most of what he's done is just incredibly stupid. I think he's just gotten lucky. But basically, in this scenario, the outcome of this is brilliant. It's basically like, oh, you want the crappy option? It costs extra. Because we're in the mix. We have to pay the legal fees if your account gets compromised, if you get SIM swapped.
That's not why they did this, though. That's not why they did this.
That's, like I said, they did the math wrong.
They did this to save money.
They did the math
Microsoft should do this
wrong.
With
Yes. If you want to use Exchange, they should introduce like $1 million a year license fee. Like, yeah, extended support from Windows is another one. Well, that's the opposite. So, like, really, it should be companies need to start paywalling the less secure options.
Yeah.
Like, for you to do, like, oh, you want to use a 7-character password? Well, actually, the fee is $5 a month for that.
Yeah. See, so Radis over here in the Discord, they got it right. The hacker man was looking at this on the Twitters and all over the socials, and essentially it was this. Elon said, hey, listen, I'm pouring money out of here because I'm a moron, and I got to figure out how to get some of this cash back. And they looked, and people, as they were trying to pop accounts, they were spending $60 billion on SMS two-factor that wasn't even for real authentication. It was just for people trying to get into those sweet accounts and tweet out all those kind of crypto messages saying how they're doing some sort of lottery and they're going to get a whole Bitcoin, and all you got to do is reply to this message and click on this link. Well, that's what they were doing. They were trying to get into the Twitter accounts, dropping $60 million on that kind of stuff. So they said, no, listen, we're not going to do it. But if you want it, we're going to create this tiny barrier of friction. And you should go to the authentication app. But if you want it, we'll give it to you. But you got to pay for it. Oh, yeah, you got to pay for it. But here's the thing, right? Like, people go through and do that, and they want to pay for that. We as hacker people, as hacker folk, as hacker maniacs, have got to remember that any security is better than no security, brother. So be very careful when you tell people that SMS is horrible, because if their other option is nothing, then SMS is great.
You should have to pay extra for nothing.
Yes.
You have to pay. It's $10 a month for SMS, and it's $15 for nothing.
Yeah.
It's like those restaurants you go to that they turn off all the lights and then charge you more.
So Vegas?
That was such a good example.
Oh gosh. Well, it is funny though. You're right. Better security. I'll be trying to save money.
Yeah. Those are some surprisingly articulate and smart points from Hackerman.
The hacker man knows what he's talking about. He's not just about elbows and singlets, okay?
I like this character development for Hackerman.
He's really coming along.
He's really coming out of his shell.
Rounded individual.
I haven't seen him do any cocaine this whole time.
I know. You really keep it under control.
Hey, no felonies. Remember,
that's one word for Corey with a comment like that. Suppository.
Why are you telling your secrets on air? It's wild.
A hacker never tells his secrets. All right. Anyone got another one? I got one.
All right.
This actually crossed my radar. All right. So someone messaged me because I'm a big data breach hoarder, and someone messaged me, was like, did you see the Cellebrite data leak? And I was like, oh, sick. This is sick. So I went and looked at it, and then I was like, hey, this is garbage. So this is basically, Cellebrite, an Israeli firm. They sell, OSINT tools and surveillance and stuff, but their tools were published online, but like in the least interesting way possible, because it was basically like someone gained access to their customer portal where they have like all their software downloads and stuff, and then just posted all of that. So it's like none of the stuff works without license keys, and like 90% of it is just like I guess you could reverse engineer it or something, but like it's like if I told you like, you're not going to believe this, dude. I got a cracked copy of Microsoft Word, but you have to type in a valid license key to use it. It's like, okay, so you could just go to Office and download the Word ISO. Like, this is
we don't
free,
need
right?
this.
Yeah, I looked through the data and it was just like, meh. It was like 90% of it too. It was like 2 terabytes, and 90% of it was like maps files. Like it was just like maps and stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna mark that one as a pass.
Was there any was it like a USB token for their licenses or something like that, where it really gets?
I didn't look into it really, but I mean, definitely, I'm sure the software will be people will try to crack it now that all the software leaked. But without that to go with it, it's just like, it's like, hey, I found a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, from a software cracking standpoint, though, like they didn't need to get this public breach to get people already have access to that, right? If they wanted to make a crack for it, they would have either done it already, or maybe someone already exists. So it's like you said, it was just like someone used an account, downloaded everything, and was like, we breached them. Like, you're a customer.
Yeah.
What is going on?
If anything, this probably made it just easier for Cellebrite customers to get access to the data, because they're like, I can finally just download without logging in. It's super nice.
I know, right? Why don't they just have a portal where you can just download everything?
I guess if you're big into reverse engineering, it could be useful, but for me, it was the least interesting data breach of a massive amount of data. I was like, 2 terabytes is going to be awesome. And I was like, no, this is not.
It's just all of the same software, just different versions, right?
Yeah, it's like version 0.1.
Yes,
megs.
Exactly.
Version 0.2. Yeah,
because I love to get that older version.
Who's happiest about this breach is Moxie Marlin Spike, because now they don't got to just walk around and wait for Cellebrite kits to fall off trucks. They can just go get it and take it apart.
I've been
for reverse engineers. I don't know how much of their software, like the CEO even tweeted, was like, not a big deal. So I assume it's not that big of a deal. But all right, last 10 minutes of the podcast.
Yes.
Balloon time.
Yes. Oh my god!
All right.
Popping it.
This is the meat and potatoes of this podcast right here. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh,
it has nothing to do with security, but I feel like it has security at its heart, right? So I need someone to figure out all the pieces in this article and how much it actually costs to build one of these balloons.
I mean, it's
at the top. I believe it's at the top, Ryan.
Okay.
Here,
there's a solar panel, an Arduino Pro, a GPS module, and then some balloon they bought at a grocery store.
So to summarize the article completely, one of the balloons that the U.S. shot down over Canada/Alaska, depending on where it was, looks to be just a hobbyist radio balloon that was the size of a party balloon. Not even like one of the big weather balloons, like literally a tiny party balloon with some basic electronic equipment.
This is a testament to how accurate these missiles are.
That's a good point.
Does this count as someone's party for something?
What? So I think the other impressive thing is this balloon circumvented the globe 6 times in at least 123 days.
What?
Wow, we need to run these. I don't really understand what the point is. Like, is it a relay?
It's literally like just for fun to track the balloon. That's what it felt like to me. And I'm like, I need to launch one of these right away. I want to see how many times I can circumvent the globe in a balloon. Can you build it?
I don't want to cause an international panic.
Yeah. How did they know it went around the world so many times?
So when it tracks
they've been tracking it.
They track it, and when it gets enough sunlight, it hits a signal, right? And you can see it there. If you scroll down, Ryan, there's some more pictures of them actually tracking it over Alaska. There you go. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's circumventing probably a smaller part of the world, so maybe that's why it's so fast, right?
Does this count as littering? If you're just like, I'm just going to drop a balloon under the atmosphere?
So one of the best parts...
No, this is science. It's different.
Science?
Oh, okay.
Since this whole setup weighs so little, you don't even have to register it with the FAA because it's 1.8.
Yeah, because a plane could just ingest it without even thinking about it.
Yeah. But so are we gonna get a Pico Balloon booth at Wild West Hackin' Fest and start a DDoS?
I mean, yeah, until the U.S. government starts sending us the bills for all these AIM-9X missiles they're popping.
I want to know how much this setup costs, and then how much it costs to send that airplane to then go shoot down this balloon.
Dude, the missile alone's got to cost $100,000. Just one of these things.
If not, I think it'd probably be more. But was it?
It depends on if you're going for
now I got to
real
find out how
cost.
much this damn missile is. What do you guys think?
So I mean, yeah, got to be at least in the 5-figure range, if not the 6-7-figure range.
And then the other good point to think about is this balloon was the size of a regular party balloon, and the U.S. radar picked it up, right? So I would say that's pretty impressive as well. They probably retuned some stuff to, of course, pick up balloons, looking for smaller objects moving at slower speeds. But I was pretty impressed with that.
Well, Shecky said it best last week. He's like, this is classic. Like, you get the alert in your sim, and then you like go back and relook at all the, like, you retune the data to look at the new parameters, and it's like, oh my God, the Chinese are all over the place. Sir, this is a party balloon. Shoot it down. You know what I mean? Like, they had to find out for themselves. Turns out there's lots of balloons.
Gosh.
Some guy's gender reveal went wrong, and the U.S. government's dropping $400K on an AIM-9X to shoot it down. But
yeah, I'm looking up what a Sidewinder costs, which is the AIM-9X infrared missile. I'll let you know. The range is classified.
Are those on eBay, or where are you looking?
Yeah, I'm looking on eBay. It's a used model. It came from a balloon strike. It says. Yeah, AliExpress actually has the quickest shipping.
I do not buy the Sidewinder Happy Best. If you buy the Sidewinder Happy Best, that one does not make it, and also you get it put on a list.
Yeah, it's not.
It's okay. I'm probably already on it. I'll buy
so. Yeah, I mean, I guess that wasn't as much balloon chat as I was. You were expecting. So I feel like we can do this last article about ChatGPT. Another topical.
Dude, and we cannot stop talking about ChatGPT.
Dude, I used it for the first time last week to write myself some scripts, and I was like, oh my God, this is
welcome to 2023, man.
Right? So, okay, the article is titled ChatGPT is ingesting corporate secrets. And to which I would just say, yes, that is how a neural net works.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I mean, basically, like, an Amazon lawyer who cannot be named told people that they had seen instances of ChatGPT showing text that looks like internal data. So I guess it's sort of interesting. ChatGPT is kind of being lauded right now as the replacement for everything. Can you make a Hot Pocket? And by the way, they don't give it to you hot. They give it to you cold, and you have to heat it yourself.
What? God dang.
But basically, everyone is saying ChatGPT can do everything. If you do use it for internal code bases, though, part of that data sharing agreement says I'm going to take the problems you give me to solve, and I'm going to reuse them to learn. So it's just like that. That's literally the whole point of it. The whole point of it is for it to learn from the input data and the questions. This company is spending millions of dollars on this solution. They're giving it away for free. We ask ourselves the age-old question. If it's free, who's the product?
You are.
You. So if you are using this for free, your code is being mined. Your questions are being mined. That's all part of it.
Can I just give ChatGPT my client name and have it do my pen test report for me?
Yeah, it's almost
we've tried that already. It does not work.
No.
It will give you a pretty solid report, though, actually.
Just so we're all aware, that is the top firm that got breached.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT doing pen tests, dumping them into Dropbox because that's all it knew how to do.
So ChatGPT is a top security firm. I mean, that's probably accurate. Yeah, so one interesting thing that someone mentioned in chat also is that ChatGPT is scraping what data for its training? So the answer is a lot of data. Most of it's pretty old. It's probably, which is why it won't have answers about a lot of like new things. Like if you ask about like, tell me about the iPhone 15 or something, it's not going to have data about that.
But you don't have, no one has data about that.
Well, there's, it will not, it is old data. However, that's only one piece of the model. It was trained on older data. However, the whole point of it and the whole reason it's, killing Google's stock price is because it learns as it goes, and it's learning from people's queries and questions. If I give it code, hey, can you fix my code? Now your code is part of its training. So.
It's not like my code's very sophisticated anyway, but I was actually
that's what everyone at Amazon said, and now their lawyers are.
Yeah, it wasn't that good until it's not yours anymore.
I asked it to do some to hit a couple like security tool APIs, and I was like, I wanted to see how well it did it, and it pulled it right out of the hat. I was very surprised. And I just threw it in a. I did.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I will
no,
admit,
it's-
I am not using it on any type of work asset or anything like that. It was more of my personal time.
You don't want to get fired?
Yeah,
So-
of course. But
Yeah,
it's
so
pretty
I
good.
mean, this is also, I think, the last piece I want to talk about with this article is a lawyer saying it closely resembles internal documentation. To me, is just a human being like, I've seen that. It looks the same. But like the truth is that because of how ChatGPT works, most of what it says looks like everything you've seen before. That's the whole point of it. So like saying it looks like it is impossible to prove. You can't be like, oh, well, it looks like this. Well, if you trace that back, that's actually mined from a book from 1972. And then if you trace that back, that's actually a concept made up in 1967 or whatever in this paper. Like, you can't be like, well, it looks like ours, so it is. Like, how can you prove that in court?
With some of these
Use
AIs,
words.
aren't they like a black box too? Like they don't know how they work internally. I know there's a name for that type of AI, but I can't think of it. And then is this one of them? So like we don't know really how it works internally, but it just goes.
And no one does. No one is
Okay.
able to say like, oh, here's how it works. Dale, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say it used words from law textbooks, and we use those same words for our, legal documents. So it must have been.
Exactly. No, that's exactly. I do think it's part of that. It's part of humans being like, that looks just like an email I sent to my wife last week. It's
Gotta
like
capitalize on it.
Right.
It's like when musicians steal. It's like when musicians sue other musicians because they used like a little riff from another song somewhere, and all of a sudden you owe someone like $50 billion because you used like some 3 bars of music or something stupid.
This is going to be very interesting to see how this shakes down in court because it's literally mined data from half the internet or as much of the internet as it could reach, and like how it's going to attribute this, like who's going to get paid. It's like the whole AI art thing. It mined the artist's content. Now it can basically copycat the artist, but the artist doesn't get paid. So it's like, and how do you? It's going to be a disaster.
But who's going to get sued? You can't sue ChatGPT. Like, he's got no money to give you.
Yeah, well, he can do his own legal defense. He can do his own legal defense.
I've been working on his legal defense for hours. We
also,
do have
since it's owned by Microsoft, so they have
that's Amazon versus Microsoft. No one wins. We do have an update though. I believe it was Timmy. He got the price for that rocket, $380,000. By the way, you can get a trainer rocket of the AIM-9 Sidewinder for about $200,000. So the real deal is 300,000, almost 4. It's like 380.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that this balloon with a solar panel duct tape to it did not cost $200,000. But
no, because it wasn't made by the government.
Yeah. So I guess do they have like a policy now? Like don't shoot down anything that isn't definitely Chinese. What do they do? Like how? I don't know. I guess. That's
Anyway, sorry. I just want to bring up the price about how ridiculous it is to shoot one of these rockets. Okay.
So,
but they do practice with these. Okay. So they do. It's not like the government never shoots one. I'm just saying that.
Right. And now they can practice on live, extremely advanced, sophisticated
So that's actually
targets.
the new thing. Instead of having a practice range, they're just going to practice over Canada.
So the goal is you launch a balloon and try to get it shot down for training. And if you do that, you've made it.
Is this the new balloons TD or whatever? This is how it's going to start.
Yeah, I mean, first option, you buy a Sidewinder. That's the first thing you buy.
Yep.
So they spent $380,000 on a missile to shoot it down when they could have spent like $5 on a bullet. It would have done the same thing.
No, because the pilots, the accuracy, they'd have to do like 100 passes to actually hit it because it's like 5
So when
feet.
the first Chinese balloon was
so
going by,
$1,000 in bullets. Then.
$1,000 in bullets, $200 million in gas.
I don't think you know how bullets work. Okay, so when a balloon is about 50,000 feet in the sky, there's not a bullet that's probably going to hit that. Okay,
you haven't seen how big my gun is.
Oh, all right.
No. What about but seriously, like, is the government? Here's the real question. Right now, is the government researching and dumping like millions into like the balloons killer? Like, is this a thing?
We're gonna get our own balloons.
Like, is it?
First off,
is it
Lockheed Martin has already developed a 7th generation balloon killer. That's amazing. It's got, it's got the full carbon fiber hull. It is designed using experts from Party City who have expertise in these types of balloons to operate in a stealth mode. It's incredible. And
it's just like a big. Oh my god!
I was going to say it only costs the taxpayer about $200 to $900 billion.
Oh, so okay, so I'm guessing it's just a plane with a giant. It's a plane with a big bunch of darts sticking out, like it's just pointing forward. It's like a giant screen of darts.
400 Dora the Explorer Mylar balloons strapped together to a block of C4.
All I have to say is that birthday parties are going to be ruined now because helium is going to be a controlled substance.
It's going to be covered under the Wassenaar arrangement.
Can we get
Party City balloons can no longer be purchased by a non-allied nation state.
So okay, so yeah, are there export grade balloons?
Yes, absolutely. All it is those gloves you get at doctor's offices that people blow up with.
So it's got the 5 fingers. That's how you know it's okay.
Yeah,
got it.
It's
I mean, really, it is funny to imagine like Space Force. Like you like get a memo. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have signed up for Space Force, but it was cool. Then you get a memo in your inbox. It's like Space Force training, balloon defense, and you're like, oh no,
maybe
I'm gonna go into private industry soon.
Maybe they'll develop a laser instead of a bullet.
That would make a lot of sense. That's too much sense. That's too much sense. Don't say that out loud.
That would make way too much sense. No. I think the best solution is, remember the guy that like went up in the Red Bull and then like dropped down?
They send one
Felix
of those
Baumgartner. They send him. They just send a guy
with a pen, and he just falls.
with a pen. It's simple. A little pocket knife. It's like Commando Ops.
He's like a guy on a balloon at 40,000 feet of oxygen, and he has to knife the other balloon.
Correct.
They're just
the only way.
A bunch of those Red Bull things up there. But since it's the military, instead of Red Bull, it'll be Rippets.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, it'll be definitely Rippets. Either way, I think we popped this story.
Yeah. All right. We popped this story. All right. Let's take us out. End the show.
We need to land.
Thanks for coming, everyone. This episode was sponsored by the Anti-Siphon Hackdown.
That's right.
Go see Hackerman in person.
The Anti-Siphon Hackdown on March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's why Randy the Hackerman Savage is here. He is fulfilling his contractual obligations for promotion so he doesn't get fined by the new World Hacking Order. So yeah, check it out. Free talks, day 1. Paid training, days 2 and 3. It's going to be incredible. And myself and Meme Gene are going to be there hosting one of the first sets of talks. There's a panel discussion between the old and the enthusiastic. It's going to be incredible.
Oh, is that how that's working? I thought okay, that makes a lot more sense now. It's the old and the enthusiastic.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Yep.
Have a good week.